Here we go. After all the time of waiting, the Scar H is finally in my hands, and I'm going to be giving you guys the best setup video for this weapon. What's up, troopers? My name is Neon, and welcome to a new video. Yes, it's the Scar H. We're going to be going over the tips and tricks and talking about the attachments for this weapon, and just showing off how this weapon performs. I put a lot of work in this weapon. I've calibrated it. I've messed about with it so many times just to kind of get it perfect, because I need to work on the ADS speed or the ADS movement speed. Now, let's give you guys some tips and tricks and details about this weapon. What makes this gun extremely special is its high damage and its high bullet velocity. You'll be amazed on the ranges you can perform with this gun. I got you, bud. Now that's how you defend a flag. And what's so great about this weapon is the fact of how it can perform at its ranges. Of course, if you make sure you get the right long barrel when it comes to your ranges and your muzzle velocity, and if you do that, you're going to be absolutely perfect when it comes to long range distances. And especially if you get the weapon code what I have, because you're also going to have a really good control. Hang on. Anyone else? Yep, it's done. And as you can see, it performs extremely well when it comes to close range because of how high of its heavy damage. It does a lot of damage, it really does, and it just hits extremely hard. Especially in this game, when you get hit hard with a weapon like this, it just overwhelms the enemy and you can really get them no problem. I would say personally, it's decided by your magazine if you're going to go with the 50 or the 30. If you go with the 30, you can mainly get about 2 enemies before you have to start reloading. With the 50 round, you're lucky enough to get about 4 or maybe more. Let's go start off with the attachments for this gun. What exactly am I rocking? Because I'm actually going with 2 different builds. So the main setup I'm going for currently right now is I'm using the long barrel. As I mentioned before, it's the range is what's really important with this gun. The range and the muzzle velocity. So please go with the long barrel, as that's the most important barrel you need to be using. Once you've done that, you're going to be going selecting all your rails and your pouches, and you're going to be selecting all handling, because that is going to be the most important thing. If you don't calibrate it to the right way, it's going to be way too overwhelming, slow ADS speed and slow aim down sight speed, and it is just too much and too sluggy and too slow for a weapon like this. That's why I go and add handling all to my rails and my pouches to increase that handling, and you can add a lot with this weapon. The foregrip, as you can see what I'm using, is actually the vertical foregrip, as that's going to help out tremendously when it comes to your ADS speed, because that increases it by like a lot. It really does, and that's what's going to change the weapon the most, just adding that foregrip, because the increased ADS speed. Plus, of course, you're already having the handling on there, so the ADS speed is already super quick. When it comes to your muzzle, there is one important muzzle you need to be using, and that is the horizontal compensator. You need to be using that, as that's going to be straightening up this weapon when it comes to its control. The control is already really zigzag and wiggly as it is, so you need to straighten it up. Of course, it's going to add more control to the weapon, but the more straight it is, the cleaner you can keep them shots, and the straightest as you possibly can. So please make sure you're using a horizontal compensator. But if you don't want to be using that one, then I would suggest to be using the secret order foregrip, as that one's also a really important one to use as well. I usually use that on my second build. Magazine types, there's 2 of them what you can use for this gun, a 30 round or a 50 round. Of course, a lot of people love going for the 50 round, but there's a lot of pros and cons with that. Of course, the pros is you have 50 bullets, fantastic, right? But the cons is you lose a lot of handling and stability. That's why I do 2 classes. So I have one what is actually for my 50 round, and then just a little bit of a different class setup, and then I have one for my 30 round, because sometimes when I use the 30 round, I just feel like I'm more consistent with it, and it actually feels more of an AR. But when I go with the 50 round, it feels like an LMG heavy hitter, but just the recoil's a little bit more crazy. Go and use the heavy grip, then go and use the grip mount, and it will be the stable grip base. And that's the combo on the grip side what you need to be using. The stock side is the 416 stable stock, but I actually calibrate that in different ways when it comes to the 50 round and the 30 round. The 50 round I go for more of its control and the calibration side, and then the 30 round I go for more of the stability while moving and the increase of ADS speed. There's going to be 2 setups for you guys in the comments below and in the description below. Oh, hang on, someone's trying to get me. Come on, pick it. I don't think he is. I got him though. Did you just miss all the healing shots on? He did. He just missed all of them. I see all of them go past me. He just missed them all. So what are the pros and cons for this gun? The pros is that it has a extremely heavy hitting weapon, so you're usually going to win majority of your gunfights unless someone has a really fast rate of fire weapon and you're at close range. But having a weapon with extremely heavy hitting, it means, well, less bullets to hit. But then the good thing about it is it actually has a slow rate of fire. Some people think that is a pro and a con, because I feel like having a slow rate of fire is a con because the gun is obviously slower, but then also having it slower is easier to control, because, you know, these weapons will have fast rate of fire that are extremely difficult to control. So having a weapon that has lower rate of fire is just much more stable and easier to control, and because of that it keeps you more consistent than anything else in the game. The con I would say with this weapon is when it comes to your calibrations and just making the weapon itself, the handling and stability is one of the things you lose the most. Look at that, man. No problem at ranges, and that wasn't even holding breath. And because you lose a lot of handling, you have to tweak with all of that to boost it back up, and same as the stability, and it is definitely extremely difficult because you can use my second build, but that second build is going to have an extremely low ADS speed, very slow. But you understand why that build is like that, because that is more of your laid back situations and just kind of being passive but not aggressive. This build what I'm using, this is the aggressive build. So make sure to look in the description below or the pinned comment for 2 of the builds for the Scar H. I've been switching up my videos lately and just trying to perform in different content style. If you guys like me talking about the attachments instead of actually showing them off, then let me know in the comment section below. But if you feel like you would like to see the attachments, then just let me know, as I've been really enjoying doing these live commentaries. If you troopers haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do. Would really appreciate it. Getting more troopers to the channel is the goal, man. It really is. I want more people to be here so I can give you guys all the best tips and tricks when it comes to weapons and so much more. And if you are enjoying the content, then come on, leave a like. Would appreciate it. What should we aim for? Let's go for 100 likes. I think they just forgotten the beacon what was right here, because I just spawned them right in front of all of them. Oh yeah, I've got some on the side. Oh, no one? Oh yeah, they think they can push, huh? Big again. Easy does it. One in front. Oh my goodness, there's quite a lot. Okay, I can officially see now.